No one is free when others are oppressed. You are an asshole if, after encountering you, people feel oppressed, humiliated, or otherwise worse about themselves, and you tend to target people less powerful than you. Got it? So it's actually kind of hard to be an asshole, right? It's not just being grumpy or having a bad day. Everybody has a bad day. This is like, I talk to you, and now I feel shitty for a day, right? You're an asshole when you're the guy who does that to someone else. Chronic assholes cannot stop ruining people's days. They can't do it, no matter what they do. And it means no matter who they are, or how good they are, or how smart they are, or how much you like them, or how pretty they are fucking incompetent. They are terrible at whatever it is that brings them into your life. If it's in your job, it's even worse. So if the smartest guy you know, the smartest person you work with, you hate to talk to him, he's incompetent. He is not the best employee you have, he's the worst employee you have, and I will prove it with science. And it doesn't matter how smart you are. So, here's where we start with the science. Bad is stronger than good. Positive interactions have to outnumber negative ones 5 to 1. So, when I see Simon, I'm often mean to Simon. He comes in, I'm like, I don't want to see you, Simon. And Simon's like, oh, I like you. And so then he has to go talk to Arthur and be like, Arthur, why was that mean to me? And like 5 other people he has to go to. How many people have had that happen? Like somebody's mean to you, you have to tell people how mean they were. And then you have to tell another person how mean they were. You need sympathy and the whole thing. 5 to 1. And those interactions actually cascade a little bit, right? So then they tell somebody else the terrible thing about the terrible story that happened to you, right? Like it's an infection, it's a disease. And they are stronger, more pervasive, and they have longer lasting effects. So if I have a nice conversation, if I come in as I actually did and was like so happy to see Simon, that was great. But if somebody then came in and was an asshole to Simon, all of that is totally wiped away. And will continue to be wiped away for a while until he talks to a bunch of people about it. Over half of the people who experience incivility at work reported they lost time worrying about the incident and its consequences. So this is kind of nuts, right? This means that half the people who were at work and somebody was an asshole to them, they actually went home and they took it home with them, and they thought about it, and they worried about it, and they talked to their wives, and like they had this whole big cascading side effect of jerkdom. So, there's 3 typical bad apples, kinds of people who in the workplace tend to become chronic assholes. And there are 3 kind of different stereotypes for chronic assholes. The first one are withholders of effort. The second are people who are effectively negative. And the final people are my favorite because they get sparkles, interpersonal deviants. So, a withholder of effort, these are people who intentionally dodge their responsibilities to the group and just free ride off other people, right? These are people, if you're an economist, you call these people shirkers. If you're a sociologist, they're free riders. If you're a psychologist, they're social loafers. And everybody else just says they're lazy people. Everybody probably has worked with these people at some point in their lives. So the people who just, no matter how hard you ask them to do anything, I work with a dude, I like the dude, he's a good guy. He had to do one thing, install Nagios in the data center in Las Vegas. That was it. I gave him that task the day he was hired. 6 months later, no motherfucking Nagios. Hadn't done a thing. Not even the first thing. Day 1 of his job, 6 months. Withholder of effort, kind of an asshole. Felt bad about it every time I met him. Every time I saw him, I was like, oh man, you're a bummer. So, people who are effectively negative. These people continually express a negative mood or attitude. These are people who are pessimistic, they're anxious, they're insecure, and they're irritable. Honestly, if there's a single thing that is most likely true in this room if you're an asshole, you're probably effectively negative, right? We tend to be dour and a little pessimistic. But for the record, you have to be way high on that scale. You can't just be like a little dour or like Dutch, right? You have to be. What? You know I'm right? Okay, so you have to really like not be cool. And it has to like pervade you, right? It's not like the dude
You have to be Eeyore.
Yeah. Interpersonal deviants. These are people who violate interpersonal norms of respect. They make fun of people. They make inappropriate ethnic, religious, or sexist remarks, and they publicly embarrass people. These are the ASCII dong guys. You know what I'm talking about? Like, they're probably in this room, and the rest of my life is going to be just ASCII dongs on Twitter. But like, this is interpersonal deviance. Like, there are people who when that stuff shows up, they feel bad about it, and it's not cool. And there are probably people who think I'm interpersonal deviant because I go for the cheap laugh with the swear words in public. But that's right. Fuck those people. Yeah. And the reason, honestly, is that in this room it seems cool. Like everybody seems fine with it. So I'm not probably deviating your norms. But as a group, as a tribe, we tend to celebrate smart bastards, right? I think the bastard operator from hell is funny. I think everybody does. ASCII dongs. Lots of people laugh at them. This is really common. X is a piece of crap because of Y, right? Insert whatever technology you want and whatever thing has been talked about. The thing that was most irritating to me about this lately, have anybody here use RVM? All right, Wayne wrote RVM. RVM is an amazing piece of shell scripting. It's beautiful. It's like a cathedral of delight for shell scripting if one could actually have such a thing. And people get down on Wayne because they didn't like the way he took over CD. So then he listened to them, changed it so it wasn't on by default, and he still gets beat up about it in public. Drives me crazy. He feels terrible about it every time you say it. Every time somebody's like, I can't believe you made this terrible decision. This incredibly smart person who gave this incredible gift to the Ruby community feels terrible about himself for days on end. Has to talk to his wife about it, has to go to a bar and talk to people about it. I don't even know the guy, but I know that's what he's doing because I feel that way every time somebody says about the stuff I wrote, especially if it's just meaningless dribble. Z is an idiot because they built X and Y way. I think that X sums that one up. We do this stuff all the time, especially on Twitter. And it's horrible, Twitter could go. And doing it undermines the entire industry. If you think about the statistics I gave you earlier, where it takes 5 to 1 to get back to it, and it kind of spreads like a disease, this means that industry-wide, we've created this enormous inefficiency of assholes, where by allowing those people to exist in our lives, we undermine ourselves universally, right, in this horrible way. And it just hampers our competitiveness, and it damages our open source communities, and it damages our companies. So, be nice. Try to lead with questions, not statements, right? Why did MongoDB not persist data to disk by default? Answer, because it wanted to be real fast. So that's cool. Understand the effort and time other people invested. You maybe don't like what they build, that's fine. Understand at least that they put in a bunch of time and effort for it, and avoid the passive-aggressive snark, which I think we're all famous at, and I've probably done in this portion of this talk. Don't be an asshole. Assholes are incompetent. And if you spot an asshole, the thing to do is shun them. So, all those people in your life who do that thing to you all the time, don't negotiate. You don't talk to them and try to get them to see the better value of not posting ASCII dongs. You just stop listening and you walk away. And if they work for you or they work in your company, you fire them because they're incompetent. And whatever it is they did that you thought was important, it's not so important you can't fire them. Next.